The alien warlord's claws scraped against the polished stone as he stared at the canvas. His translator struggled with the word. Propaganda. That's what his advisors called it. Human lies painted in color and shadow. Commander Vex of the Krillian Empire had conquered 47 worlds. He'd watched civilizations crumble under orbital bombardment. He'd accepted surrender from species that had ruled their galaxies for millennia. None of it prepared him for what hung on the wall of his newly acquired palace on Earth. The painting showed a human child reaching toward stars. Simple, stupid even. Yet 3 of his garrison soldiers had deserted after seeing it. 2 more refused guard duty in this wing. His chief strategist requested immediate transfer off-world. "Burn it," Vex ordered. His lieutenant, Cora, stepped forward with a plasma torch. The flame touched canvas. Nothing happened. Impossible. Vex's mandibles clicked in agitation. Krillian fire consumed everything. Planets, atmospheres, flesh. The painting remained pristine. Cora fired again. The torch sputtered and died. "Bring the human artist," Vex commanded. They dragged her in 10 minutes later. She couldn't have been more than 20 cycles old. Brown hair matted with blood. Uniform torn. But her eyes held something Vex had never seen in conquered species. Not fear. Not hatred. Joy. "What trick protects this?" He gestured at the canvas. She smiled. "No trick. Just truth. Lies." Vex backhanded her. She crashed into the wall but kept smiling. "You paint false hope to inspire rebellion. Hope isn't false just because you don't understand it." Vex activated his communicator. "Status report. All sectors." Static crackled, then screaming. "Sector 7 in revolt. They're armed with..." The transmission cut off. Sector 12 reporting mass uprising. "Sir, they're not using weapons. They're using more static." "What?" Vex roared. "Using what?" The human woman stood. Blood dripped from her split lip. Music, poetry, stories, dance. Everything you tried to categorize as propaganda. Alarms shrieked through the palace. Vex pulled up tactical displays. Red spread across every continent. His empire's grip on Earth was dissolving in real time. "We have superior firepower," Vex said. "Superior numbers. You have tools for killing." The woman walked toward him. Guards raised weapons, but she ignored them. "We have reasons for living." The floor shook. Explosions bloomed across the city skyline. Not military strikes. Vex recognized the pattern. Self-destruction. His own forces were sabotaging themselves. "What did you do?" He grabbed the woman's throat. "What poison did you spread?" She didn't struggle. "We showed them beauty. Reminded them what they were fighting for. Your soldiers saw our art. Our humanity. And they remembered theirs." Vex's communicator exploded with desperate calls. His fleet in orbit was turning on itself, ground forces abandoning positions. The occupation was collapsing. The woman touched the painting. "You can't kill an idea, Commander, and art is the most dangerous idea of all." Vex looked at the child, reaching for stars. For the first time in his brutal career, he felt something unfamiliar crawling up his spine. Fear. The Krillian High Command materialized in holographic fury around Vex's war room. Supreme Overlord Thane's image flickered with poorly contained rage. "Explain how 5 million soldiers lost control of one primitive world in 6 hours." Vex pulled up footage. A Krillian shock trooper sat motionless in a human theater. On stage, dancers moved to music. The trooper's weapon lay forgotten. Tears streamed down his armored face. "They're using psychological warfare," Vex said. "Some kind of neural attack we can't detect." "Scans show nothing," Thane snapped. "No chemical agents, no sonic weapons, no electromagnetic pulses." "Then how do you explain this?" Vex switched feeds. An entire battalion stood in a human museum. They'd laid down arms. Some were weeping. Others stared at sculptures like they'd forgotten how to move. Thane's scales rippled with disgust. Weakness. "Execute them all and send fresh troops." "Already tried. The replacements last 4 days before the same thing happens." A new voice cut through. General Cross, Thane's enforcer, the Krullian who'd personally glassed 12 rebellious colonies. This is absurd. They're showing our warriors' paintings and songs. Kill the artists. Problem solved. Vex felt his jaw tighten. We've executed 7,000 human artists. There are millions more, and every execution creates 10 new ones. He pulled up another file. A human man stood before a firing squad. He sang until the plasma bolts hit. The soldiers who executed him requested psychiatric evaluation an hour later. 2 killed themselves. The rest deserted. The humans call it martyrdom, Vex continued. Every artist we kill becomes inspiration for others. Thane leaned forward. Then destroy their art. All of it. We did. Burned museums. Demolished concert halls. Erased their digital archives. Vex's claws dug into the table. They paint on rubble. Sing in ruins. Perform in ashes. You can't eradicate it. Cross laughed. You're telling me the mighty Krullian Empire is being defeated by stick figures and nursery rhymes? Not defeated, Vex said quietly. Converted. Silence filled the chamber. Explain, Thane demanded. Vex displayed a transmission. A Krullian commander named Voss stood in what looked like a human library. Books surrounded him. His armor was gone. I can't do this anymore, Voss said into the camera. I read their stories. I saw what we are, what we've become. He held up a human novel. This is about a father searching for his daughter across a war-torn world. I have a daughter. Had. I don't even remember her name. We're not warriors. We're monsters. Voss raised a pistol to his head. Vex cut the feed before the shot. That's the 14th command officer this week, he said. The humans don't fight us with weapons. They fight us with mirrors. They show us ourselves, and we can't stand what we see. Cross slammed his fist down. Then we don't look. We blind the troops. Remove their translators. Block all human communication. Already implemented in Sector 9. Vex pulled up more footage. The troops mutinied. Said we were turning them into machines, half defected. The other half executed their officers. Thane's eyes narrowed. You're suggesting the Empire retreat? I'm suggesting we don't understand what we're fighting. Vex gestured to screens showing humans gathering in streets. No weapons, just voices raised in song. Paint on walls, stories told around fires. Every tactical doctrine we have assumes the enemy wants to survive. These humans want to live. There's a difference. General Cross scoffed. Philosophy won't stop plasma cannons. No, but it stops the ones firing them. Vex showed another clip. A battalion commander stood on a human street. Children drew pictures on the pavement. He watched for 3 hours. Then he ordered his entire force to stand down. Where is he now? Thane asked. Teaching art to human orphans we created. The silence stretched. Finally, Thane spoke. I'm sending the extinction fleet. If we can't occupy Earth, we'll sterilize it. Vex felt something twist in his chest. The human woman's words echoed. You can't kill an idea. That won't work, he said. Why not? Because it's already spreading. Our own worlds are infected. Krullian citizens are asking questions. Reading human literature we confiscated. Listening to music we tried to destroy. There are protests on 6 core worlds demanding we end the war. Thane's image flickered. Impossible. Art doesn't need ships or soldiers, Vex said. It travels on breath, on memory, on hope. He looked at his claws, stained with blood from 1,000 conquests. The humans weaponized their soul, and we have no defense against it. Cross activated his weapon. Then you're compromised too, Commander. Vex smiled. Felt strange on his face. Yes, I am. The plasma bolt missed Vex by inches. He rolled behind a console as Cross fired again. Holographic images of Thane and the High Command scattered. Traitor, Cross snarled. You've gone soft. Vex didn't reach for his weapon. Instead, he pulled a small object from his armor, a human music player. Contraband he'd confiscated weeks ago. He pressed play. Piano notes filled the war room, soft, delicate. A human composition called Clair de Lune. Vex had looked up the translation. Moonlight. Cross hesitated. His weapon wavered. "Turn it off," he demanded. No. The music swelled. Cross's hand trembled. The weapon clattered to the floor. "What is this?" His voice cracked. "What are you doing to me?" "Nothing you haven't done to yourself." Vex stood. "You just never had permission to feel it before." Cross sank to his knees. Tears carved tracks through scales designed for war. "I don't understand." Neither did I. Then a human named Claire showed me her daughter's drawings. Vex pulled out a crumpled paper. Crude crayon marks depicting two figures holding hands. The girl was 5. We killed her in a pacification strike. Claire kept drawing anyway. She said her daughter's art had to survive even if she didn't. Cross stared at the drawing. "Why are you showing me this?" "Because you need to see what we're destroying." The door exploded inward. Vex's own guards stormed in, but they didn't point weapons at him. They aimed at Cross. "Commander," the squad leader said, "we're with you." Vex looked at his troops, young, hardened by training, but their eyes held something new. Doubt, conscience, humanity. "How many?" he asked. 3 divisions, maybe more. They're waiting for orders. Vex accessed the planetary network. The occupation was fragmenting. Loyalist forces held maybe 30% of positions. The rest had stopped fighting. Some joined human resistance. Others simply walked away. He opened a channel to Earth's primary human settlement. "This is Commander Vex. I need to speak with Claire." Static. Then a woman's voice, the same one from the palace. "I'm listening. Your Art 1. The occupation is collapsing. But Thane's sending an extinction fleet. They'll burn this planet to bedrock rather than lose it. How long do we have?" 4 days, Claire laughed. Not bitter. Genuine. "Then we better make them count." "You're not afraid of dying?" "I've been afraid of that since you arrived. But I'm more afraid of living in a universe where beauty doesn't matter." Vex felt something break inside him, a wall he'd built over centuries of conquest. "Tell me what to do. Broadcast everything. Every piece of human art you confiscated, every song you banned, every story you burned. Flood Krillian networks with it. Let your people see what their empire destroys." "That's insane." "It'll cause chaos. That's the point. Empires built on violence can't survive questions, and art is nothing but questions." Vex looked at Cross, still kneeling, still staring at a child's drawing, at his guards, who'd chosen defection over duty. At the rubble of a civilization that refused to stay conquered. "Do it," he ordered his communications officer. "Transmit everything, all frequencies, all Krillian worlds." "Sir, that's treason." "I know." The officer smiled. "Good." Data streams erupted across the galaxy. Human symphonies interrupted military channels. Paintings flashed across tactical displays. Poetry scrolled over strategic briefings. Every Krillian from the core worlds to the frontier colonies saw humanity's soul laid bare. The response was immediate. Riots erupted on Krylos Prime. Citizens demanded answers. Why were they exterminating a species that created such beauty? What did that make them? Military units refused deployment orders. Entire fleets went dark. Governors abandoned their posts. The Empire didn't fall. It questioned itself to death. Thane's image reappeared. Fury twisted his features. "You've destroyed everything we built." "No," Vex said. "I'm showing our people what we destroyed to build it. The extinction fleet launches in 3 days. Nothing you've done will stop it. But you won't give the order. Watch me. I already am." Vex sent a file. "Your son is on that fleet." I sent him a human book. The Little Prince. He read it. Last communication said he was thinking about what he's fighting for. Thane's face went pale. "You bastard. He's requesting transfer to cultural studies. Wants to understand humans instead of killing them. Says the book reminded him of something you told him when he was young. Do you remember what?" Thane's jaw worked. No sound came out. You told him to find beauty in the universe, exact words. I accessed your private logs. Vex leaned forward. The humans didn't weaponize their soul. They weaponized yours. The one you buried under armor and orders and conquest. Thane's image flickered. The fleet still launches. Then send it. But every soldier on those ships has seen what I transmitted. Ask yourself if they'll still fire. The connection severed. Vex turned to Claire's channel. I bought you time. Maybe 3 days. Maybe less. Then we'll fill them with art. Earth transformed in 72 hours. Not into a fortress. Into a canvas. Every building became a mural. Every street sang with voices. Humans who'd hidden their art under occupation now created in defiance. They painted on tanks, carved sculptures from rubble, performed plays in bombed-out theaters. Vex walked through what remained of New York, a city he'd ordered leveled. Now it bloomed with color. A child approached him. Couldn't be more than 7. She held out a flower made from twisted metal and wire. For you, she said. Vex stared. His claws could crush her skull. Instead, they trembled as he accepted the gift. Why? He asked. Because you stopped hurting us. She ran back to her mother. Claire. The woman smiled at him. No hatred, just acknowledgement. Vex looked at the metal flower. Scraps from a Krillian tank, transformed into something beautiful. He attached it to his armor. His communicator buzzed. Lieutenant Cora. Sir, the extinction fleet dropped out of hyperspace. 30 minutes until firing range. Are they answering hails? No. But they're not advancing either. They're just waiting. Vex accessed the fleet's external sensors. 40 dreadnoughts hung in space. Enough firepower to crack continents. Their weapons remained cold. He opened a wideband transmission. This is Commander Vex to Extinction Fleet. I know you're listening. I know what your orders are. But I also know what you've seen these past 3 days. Silence. You've seen humans paint their own extinction with joy. You've watched them sing while your cannons charge. You've monitored every transmission I sent, every piece of art, every story. Vex looked at the flower on his armor, deer hesitating. Because somewhere inside you remember what it means to create instead of destroy. A new voice crackled through. Female. Cold. This is Admiral Senna. Your transmission is noted. Our orders stand. Then execute them. Excuse me? You heard me. Fire. Burn this world. Prove that beauty means nothing. That art is just propaganda. That hope is a lie. Vex's voice hardened. But do it knowing that every human below is making art right now. In their final moments. They're not running. They're not begging. They're creating. Static filled the line. What does that make us, Admiral? If we destroy species that respond to extinction with beauty? It makes us survivors, Senna said, but her voice wavered. No, it makes us afraid. Because if they can find meaning in death, what's our excuse for finding none in life? The fleet remained motionless. Vex checked chronometers. 20 minutes until Thane's deadline. On Earth's surface, humans gathered, not to fight, not to flee. They brought instruments, canvases, poetry. Claire stood at the center of the largest gathering, 10,000 strong. She began to sing. No translation needed. The melody spoke of loss, of love, of defiance. Other voices joined. The song swelled until it filled the streets. Vex transmitted it to the fleet. Are you hearing this? They know you're up there. They know what's coming. And they're singing. Commander, stand down, Senna ordered. Make me. The fleet's weapons powered up. Energy signatures bloomed across tactical displays. Vex's troops readied for bombardment, but none of them moved to bunkers. They stood with the humans. Cross appeared beside Vex. The general who'd tried to kill him now held a human sketchbook. If we die, at least we die knowing what we were protecting. You draw now? Vex asked. Badly. But yes. Cross showed him crude attempts at human faces. I'm trying to remember everyone I killed. Give them form again. It's not enough, but it's something. The singing grew louder. Humans raised canvases toward the sky. Paintings of stars, of ships, of Krillian and human hands clasped together. Admiral Senna's voice cut through. I need to speak with a human, directly. Vex handed his communicator to Claire. She stopped singing. This is Claire. Why? Senna asked. Simple. Direct. Why make art when you could be building weapons, fighting back? 'Cause weapons only prove who's stronger. Art proves why strength matters. Huh, that's insane. Maybe. But you haven't fired yet. Silence. Then Senna laughed. Bitter. Broken. No, I haven't. What's stopping you? Honestly, I don't know. My targeting officer showed me a human painting yesterday. A mother and child. Simple. Nothing special. But I couldn't stop looking at it, because I have a daughter, and I realize she'll grow up in a universe we burned. What will I tell her? That I destroyed beauty because I was ordered to? Claire's voice softened. You can tell her you chose differently. The Empire will execute me. The Empire is already dead. It just doesn't know it yet. Vex watched tactical displays. The fleet's formation wavered. Ships began drifting out of position. Senna came back on. I'm polling my captains, giving them a choice. Fire or stand down. That's mutiny, Vex said. So was transmitting human art across the Empire. Looks like we're both traitors now. One by one, the dreadnoughts powered down weapons. Not all. 7 maintained firing solutions. But 33 chose mercy. Thane's voice erupted across all channels. Admiral Senna, you will execute your orders or I will execute you. With respect, Supreme Overlord, I resign my commission. You can't resign from the Krillian military. Watch me. Senna cut her connection to High Command. Commander Vex, requesting permission to enter Earth's atmosphere. My ships won't fire. You have my word. Words mean nothing, Vex said. Then trust the art. It changed me. It changed my crews. We're not your enemy anymore. Vex looked at Claire. She nodded. Permission granted. But Admiral, if you're lying, these humans will make sure the last thing you see is something beautiful. Just to prove a point. Senna laughed. Real this time. I believe it. The 7 loyalist dreadnoughts opened fire. Plasma streams carved through atmosphere. The first barrage hit the ocean, boiling water into steam. The second targeted New York. Human voices never stopped singing. Vex's ships intercepted. Defected Krillian vessels threw themselves between Earth and annihilation. The sky became a war between those who'd seen beauty and those who refused to. Admiral Senna's flagship descended through the chaos. Her weapons stayed cold, but her shields flared as loyalist fire raked her hull. All ships, she broadcast, protect the planet. 33 dreadnoughts against 7. Should have been a massacre. But the loyalists fought with trained precision, while Senna's forces fought with purpose. The difference showed. A loyalist captain named Drex transmitted on open channels. You're all infected, contaminated by human weakness. When we finish glassing Earth, you're next. Then come finish it, Senna replied. Drex's dreadnought surged forward. But his crew didn't follow the command. The ship stuttered mid-acceleration. What are you doing? Drex screamed at his bridge crew. We saw the transmissions too, Captain, someone replied. We're done. Drex executed the speaker. The shot echoed through the channel. Anyone else want to question orders? His crew mutinied. Vex watched the tactical display as Drex's own soldiers turned on him. The dreadnought's weapons went offline. Life pods began ejecting. This is First Officer Kane of the vessel Hammer of Retribution. Captain Drex is no longer in command. We're standing down. 6 loyalist ships remained. They tightened formation and unleashed everything. Cities burned. Sydney. Lagos. Millions dead in seconds. Claire clutched Vex's arm. Make it stop. I'm trying. But his ships couldn't break through the loyalist formation. They fought like cornered animals. Desperate. Deadly. Then humans did something unexpected. They transmitted art directly at the attacking fleet, not military channels, personal ones. Every Krillian soldier carried communicators. Humans flooded them with images, music, poetry, Stories. A loyalist gunner named Voss sat at his targeting console. His screen filled with a human child's drawing, 2 stick figures, 1 Krillian, 1 human, holding hands under a yellow sun. He stopped firing. His captain noticed. "Gunner Voss, re-engage!" Voss didn't move. "That's a direct order." "I know, sir." Voss pulled his sidearm. Not toward the captain, toward himself. "But I can't kill children anymore, even to save the Empire." He fired. The shot echoed through the ship. Other crew members froze. They'd all received the same transmissions, seen the same art. One by one, weapons went offline. 5 ships remaining. Then 4. Then 3. The last 3 captains locked their bridges. Overrode crew control. Charged weapons themselves. "If we die, Earth dies with us," one transmitted. Senna's flagship positioned itself between the Loyalists and the planet. "You'll have to go through me." Gladly. But before they could fire, something massive dropped out of hyperspace. A Krillian supercarrier, Thane's personal flagship, the Inexorable. Every ship froze. Thane's voice filled all channels. "I'm ending this. All of it." The supercarrier's main cannon powered up. Not aimed at Earth, aimed at the 3 Loyalist ships. "Supreme Overlord?" one captain stammered. "We're following your orders." "No, you're following your fear." Thane's voice carried weight Vex had never heard before. "I gave extinction orders because I was afraid. Afraid of what humans showed us. Afraid of what it meant if they were right." The cannon fired. 3 Loyalist ships vaporized. Silence swallowed the fleet. "But my son sent me something," Thane continued. "A human book. And a message." He asked, "What kind of empire destroys teachers? What kind of civilization fears questions? What kind of father raises a son in darkness and calls it strength?" Vex's hands shook. "Sir, what are you saying?" "I'm saying I was wrong. The Empire was wrong. We built everything on conquest and called it civilization. We created order through fear and called it peace." Thane's image appeared. He looked older. "The humans didn't overthrow our regime with weapons. They overthrew it with truth. What happens now? Now." Thane looked at the devastation below. Cities smoldering. Millions dead. "Now we face what we've done. Every Krillian world. Every conquered species. Every atrocity we committed in the name of order. That'll destroy the Empire," Senna said. "The Empire is already destroyed. I'm just admitting it." Thane's shoulders sagged. "I hereby dissolve the Krillian military command. All occupation forces are ordered to stand down. All conquered worlds are granted immediate sovereignty. All war crimes tribunals will proceed with full transparency." Vex felt the weight of armor that suddenly meant nothing. "You're surrendering?" "No. Surrendering implies we were fighting equals. We were butchers, monsters. The humans just held up a mirror until we couldn't look away." Thane met Vex's eyes. "You tried to tell me. I should have listened." Claire's voice cut through. "What about reparations? Justice for those you killed?" "Every resource the Empire has. Every world. Every ship? Whatever you need." Thane looked at Earth. "Though I know it won't bring them back." "Nothing will." She nodded. "It's a start." Cross stepped beside Vex. His sketchbook hung from one claw. "What do we do now, Commander?" "We're soldiers without a war." Vex looked at the metal flower still attached to his armor, at the humans singing in ruins, at Krillian ships that chose beauty over obedience. "We learn," he said. "We rebuild. We create instead of destroy. You think they'll forgive us? No. But maybe they'll teach us to forgive ourselves." 5 years later, Vex stood in what humans called the Memorial Garden. Not a monument to victory, space for grief. Krillian and human names covered the walls. Millions of them. Every life lost in the occupation. Vex ran his claws over letters. Some he recognized. People he'd killed personally. Orders he'd given. Claire found him there. She always did. "Still punishing yourself?" she asked. "Always." She sat beside him. Gray streaked her hair now. The war had aged her faster than time should allow. That's not what this place is for. Then what? Remembering, not punishing. She touched a name. Her daughter's. We built this so no one forgets, not to torture ourselves. To ensure it never happens again. Vex looked across the garden. Krillian students sat with human teachers, learning art, history, things the Empire had banned for centuries. Crosstop painting now. His work hung in galleries across 3 systems. Crude, still, but honest. Every piece depicted someone he'd killed, his way of giving them form again. Admiral Senna ran the new Interspecies Council. Former enemies working together to rebuild what the Empire destroyed. Progress was slow, trust slower, but it existed. Thane had executed himself 2 years ago. Left a letter explaining that some crimes demanded more than apology. His son honored his memory by ensuring the Empire's archives stayed open. Every atrocity documented, every crime exposed. Do you still have it? Claire asked. Vex knew what she meant. He pulled the metal flower from his pocket. Worn now, fragile. But he carried it everywhere. She made this the day before you stopped the war, Claire said. Told me it was for the scary alien. Said maybe he just needed something pretty. She was 7. She was wiser than all of us. Claire stood. There's something I want to show you. She led him through the garden to a new section. Fresh construction. Walls covered in screens. What is this? Art from the outer colonies. The ones you occupied before Earth. Claire activated the displays. Paintings, sculptures, music. All created by species the Empire had conquered. They're sharing now, teaching each other, creating together. Vex watched a Krillian child and a human child paint the same canvas. Different hands. Same vision. We called it propaganda, he said quietly. You called it what you feared. Because art asks questions, and empires built on violence can't afford questions. A young Krillian approached. Couldn't be more than 15 cycles. She held a canvas. Commander Vex, I'm Sarah. I wanted to show you this. The painting depicted 2 figures. One Krillian, one human, standing in ruins but reaching towards stars. It's beautiful, Vex said. It's you. And Claire, the day you chose to stop. Sarah looked nervous. I know you did terrible things. Everyone knows. But you also chose differently. That matters. Vex felt something crack. Not breaking. Thank you. Sarah ran off to join other students. Claire smiled. That's what humans call hope. We don't forget what happened, but we don't let it define what comes next. The Empire would have called that naive. The Empire is dead. We're not. Vex looked at the memorial walls, at the names, at the art surrounding them, at species learning to create together instead of destroy each other. Do you think it'll last? He asked. I think nothing lasts forever, but we can build something worth remembering. Claire touched his shoulder. You helped end a war, Vex. Now help build a peace. I don't know how. We'll figure it out together. Across the garden, music started. Krillian instruments blending with human voices. A concert for the dead. A promise to the living. Vex closed his eyes and listened. Once, he'd called this propaganda. Lies meant to weaken empires. He'd been right about one thing. It had destroyed the Empire. But what rose from the ashes wasn't weakness. It was something the Krillians had never understood. Something humans weaponized not through force but through faith. The belief that beauty mattered. That creation trumped destruction. That art wasn't propaganda but truth-wearing colors the universe had forgotten. Vex opened his eyes. The metal flower rested in his palm. A gift from a child who saw past armor to the person underneath. He placed it at the base of the memorial. One small piece of beauty among millions of names. Then he joined the others. Former enemies, current students, future artists. Learning to create instead of conquer. Learning to live instead of merely survive. Learning that humanity wasn't a species. It was a choice. And for the first time in his long, violent life, Vex chose